Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to compact down circuits in Minecraft, because often you have a circuit and it's just much too clunky, large, slow and awful, like this one here. So let's have a look at this bad circuit. What we have is a double piston extender and it's slow and just all round awful. So as you can see, it extends and it retracts and everything works fine, it's great. But it doesn't quite do what we want it to do as well as we want it to do. So let's have a look at a better design and then compare the two. So this one's a lot faster, a lot smaller, and an all-round much better design. So first, the size. But how do we achieve this? What we want to achieve when we have a double piston extender is we want the bottom piston to stay extended for longer than the top piston, and then when it's retracting we want this top piston to be able to grab the final block with a pulse. So we want this one to fire, then this one to fire, and then when we want to retract we want this one to stay extended longer than this one, so this one will go down first, bring this block, and then this will go down, bring this piston, and then this piston needs to fire again just to collect that. So that's exactly what happens. As you can see, that's what happens. However, it's slow and large, whereas this one's not. So what's the difference really? What choices have been made which have allowed this to be a lot smaller? Okay, so firstly, with the extension, all we're using here is this piston, not this, we're using this torch tower which is powering these pistons in turn. Now this torch will prefer to power this piston first, which is very ideal because we want that piston to fire first. So it'll fire up this piston, and then this piston will be moved to this position, and this torch will be powering that block, which can then transfer the power to this piston, allowing it to also extend like so. So that's a much better way of extending our pistons rather than using this spiral staircase method, and we were able to do that simply because we know how torches power pistons. So the first step to compacting down your circuits is understanding how redstone power is transferred. Now there are a million videos about that, so you can simply basically go into YouTube and search basic redstone tutorials, and you can find loads of great tutorials that people have made on how redstone works and all the different ways of transferring power. So with that done, we've got the extension, but we still need this bottom one to stay extended for longer. That's where this repeater comes in. This repeater will get powered, and it doesn't matter about the amount of time it takes in the first sort of instant when we're switching it on. When we switch it on, it's also known as the rising edge. When we switch it off, it's known as the falling edge. Just to make sure you know that, because I'm going to be referring to these edges quite a lot. So on the rising edge, it doesn't matter because it's already powered, so it just takes a little bit longer for this power to get there, but it's already powered, so it's not going to make any difference. The only difference is on the falling edge. So when we switch it off, this will take longer to decay. It won't go off for a longer amount of time than this. So this torch, which is powering this piston, will go off before this repeater goes off. Hence, this will stay extended for longer, which is exactly what we want. So, now for the last part. In this example, we use this monostable circuit, which is basically just a pulse limiter, to create our pulse to fetch the block at the end. Now, we've got exactly the same thing here, except we have a much better design for a monostable, which I'll cover in a bit. And we've done something which allows us to work a lot better with space, and this is basically what we have here. So a very useful technique for conserving space is using previous delay lines to add more delay to your next item. For example, I'll draw up a quick situation here. Say we want this piston, let's put a piston here, let's put two pistons. and we want this piston to fire first and then this piston, we can either have 2 lines of delay like so. So let's put 2 lines of delay like this. We want this piston to fire just after this other one. So let's grab some redstone from over here, put it down, and we want this piston to fire and then this piston. And as you can see, that's exactly what happens. However, we're having to use more space than we need to. We've got 2 delay lines, whereas realistically we can only have 1. And I'll show you how to do that. So if we do like this, we receive exactly the same result, except now we're using the previous delay line to add more delay to the second delay line, because this won't power until this delay has finished. So a really useful thing to implement is to conserve space by using previous delay lines for multiple things, and to add more delay to extra things. It's a very useful technique, and one that often, if not used, can create massive loads of delay lines, which can make a situation very clunky. As you can see, that's what we've done here. We've got 1 delay line for the monostable and 1 delay line for the extension, whereas realistically we could have just thought, okay, well, we want it to fire after the extension's finished, so we'll just put the monostable on the end. So that's a really crucial part to making sure that your designs are compact, whether or not you're using your delay lines to the maximum of their advantage. Alright, so that's it for the first part of this video. We've got quite a lot to cover now, but I don't want these videos to be too long, so that's it for the first one. And yeah, if you've enjoyed the video, a like rating would be much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.